If you're a chiropractor who wants to serve more patients, make more money, and spend more time doing the things that you love, the secret marketing strategy that you're looking for is definitely not Facebook ads, Google ads, TV, or radio ads. The secret to getting everything that you want is to tell a story that resonates with your perfect patient. In fact, this is the same strategy that I use to build a 7-figure firearms training company without wasting any money on paid ads. Hey, what's up guys? My name is Ryan G, and we help chiropractors attract high-value patients who spend more money and refer their friends and family members like crazy using our proprietary framework called the Chiropractor Marketing System. All right, so I want to share with you guys something called an Epiphany Bridge Story, which is something that I learned from my mentor, Russell Brunson. And so I'm going to share with you my Epiphany Bridge story from our firearms training business. Then we're going to jump back and kind of talk about why this is so powerful and can really dynamically change your practice. Let's jump into it. I ran into the children's building of my church. Lock the doors. Tell the children to lay on the floor. A man has a gun. Then my heart sunk to the floor as I thought, this entire wall is made out of glass. What am I gonna do if he shoots the glass? This is a real life story that happened to me 12 years ago, but let me start at the beginning. My entire life, my plan was to get a Florida concealed carry permit the day that I turned 21, because I thought it was really cool. As the day drew near, I realized I had a problem. My wife was angry and scared at the idea of having a gun in the house around our kids. Plus, I was afraid that if I owned a gun, I would do something stupid and get hurt. What if I lost control and end up in prison? I'm too skinny for prison.
Bend over and pick it up for me. Would you love her?
So I put it off. Then everything changed. I was sitting in the back of my church when a man walked in wearing a black leather trench coat. What is this guy thinking? I thought to myself, why would somebody wear a leather trench coat on a hot July morning? I watched a man walk down the row, checking to see if the doors were locked. Then he walked up to an emergency exit, clearly labeled alarms will sound, and he pushed it open. The alarms went off and people were looking around, confused at what was happening. Now, 1 week earlier, a man walked into a church service in Georgia, pulled out a gun, and shot the pastor right in the chest, killing him instantly. I want you to imagine we have been watching this on TV for the last week, and now it is happening at my church. Suddenly, a senior staff member slapped me on the shoulder. Ryan, we think that guy is an active shooter. Go to the children's building, tell them what's happening, and secure the building. I jumped up, ran next door, and began locking all the doors and placing volunteers to guard each door. I decided to protect the main entrance, which was entirely made out of glass. As I was standing next to this glass wall, I thought to myself, what the hell am I gonna do if this guy shoots the glass? It was at this moment that I realized I had made a foolish and critical mistake. The wolf was at the door and I was a sheep. At this exact moment, I finally realized what I needed to do. I needed to get my Florida concealed carry permit. I needed to overcome my fear of firearms. I needed to learn how to keep my children safe with a firearm in the home. The mistake I made is that I tried to do it by myself. For the next few months, I would watch YouTube videos and go to the range with friends. I quickly realized that my shots never seemed to hit exactly where I wanted them to go. I knew how to make my gun go bang, but I didn't understand what I was doing or why I was doing it. Then one day I walked into the range and noticed a man shooting, who immediately grabbed my attention. His stance and his grip were insane. Plus, he was placing each shot into the same hole. So I stood in the back of the room and waited for an opportunity to introduce myself. Mike was the first professional firearms instructor who trained me. Over the next few years, Mike helped me build a firm foundation of firearm safety and shooting fundamentals. And that's when I had an epiphany. The fastest way to get the results I was looking for was to hire an experienced instructor. You know, looking back, I can't believe how much time I wasted trying to figure it out on my own. I didn't need to figure anything out. All I had to do was find an experienced instructor. Then one day, Mike gave me some really bad news. He was moving to Virginia. So I asked Mike, I said, Mike, would it be okay if I shared some of the things that you taught me with other people? Thankfully, Mike agreed, but I still had a problem. I knew that the process Mike had shared worked for me, but would it work for other people? Over the next few months, I began teaching this process to my wife, friends, and their wives. And they all received the same result I received. They felt safer and more confident handling a firearm. I watched their skills skyrocket as they were able to hit the target in the exact spot they were aiming. But what was even cooler was the internal transformation. Students who were afraid, fearful, and shaking at the range transformed into safe, responsible, and confident firearms owners. The story that I just shared is called an Epiphany Bridge Story. You know, one of the most powerful things that you can do to grow your chiropractic business is to get really good at telling stories. Stories are really powerful because they create an instant connection with your patient. And one of the most important stories that you need to share is called an Epiphany Bridge Story. Now, I first learned about this from my mentor, Russell Brunson, in his book, Expert Secrets. The purpose of the Epiphany Bridge Story is to identify a false belief that your perfect patient currently has, destroy the false belief, and then create a new belief, which in turn creates desire for the product or service that you're selling. So if you are a chiropractor who wants to serve more patients and make more money and spend more time doing the stuff that you love, create an Epiphany Bridge Story, and of course, subscribe for more tips.